Hi there, I'm here today at Pink Sofa Conversations again, in this case with Natalie. Hi Natalie, how are you?
I'm good, or you?
Very good. Natalie, thank you
Yeah,
so much
good.
for making the time. Natalie and I, we
Sure.
are part of a female entrepreneur chat, and I made a call and say, hey, there has to be some kick-ass stories to share. And Natalie said, I have one. And after meeting her, indeed, I can confirm she has a kick-ass business story. Natalie, give us an introduction. What do you do?
Right. So I thank you first of all. Thank you so much for having me. I run a company called Natalka Design, and we are digital visual storytellers. And what that means for the last 8 years, we've been helping our clients to demystify all their messages. They come with complex messages for their pitch, for their strategy, for their event, for any idea they have, and they come and say, can you help us visualize it? Because we want more people to understand it, we want more people to engage with it, we want people to do something. So can we have these visuals to help us kind of make some actions from people? So that's what we've been doing for the last 8 years.
Mm, amazing. And we've been speaking before about the event industry, and with the situation that we have now, it seems that it's going to be one of those industries that are massively impacted. Natalie, how are you guys tackling this situation where we are in quarantine and we are not supposed to leave our houses and engage in groups?
Yes, I mean, life has changed a bit since like few weeks, right, for every one of us. And not to, of course, laugh at the situation, but just laugh at
No.
how everything quickly changed. I would lie if I said that we haven't been impacted. I was
Yeah.
very outspoken since the beginning and very transparent in groups, online and everywhere, saying that, guys, we've been impacted.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, in
fine.
terms of
Yeah.
our all the yeah. I would lie if I continued with like we have great time. No, we're not. So all our physical events, offsites, meetings, sessions into the bin, either cancelled or postponed, but postponed until we don't know when.
Yeah.
So the postponing kind of is June, and then from June we're going September, and then we don't know, right? But thankfully, after all that, all these cancellations and everything, I feel like it was like 2 weeks ago as we were speaking, where people really had to figure it out, how to work from home, how to sort their kids, how to sort themselves, how to set up quickly their home office and, stay away from the dog and all that stuff. And I feel like now we're going into 2 weeks where it makes a bit more sense. It's not getting better outside. We are staying more at home, which is an amazing thing. I feel like people are being very respectful to that situation now. But we are moving slowly with the clients to virtual events, Zoom calls, virtual scribing, everything virtual. So, and thankfully, in our work, we've been doing so much digital work on iPads, on our computers, that hasn't been affected. But the event side of things, forget human to human interaction, go online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that we need to visualize the way that we have experiences in events and conference and engage. And this is a great example. We've never met face to face. We've only been in touch in the same group virtually, and now we're having this chat and
Yeah,
engaging. So
exactly.
yeah, I think we need to really be creative. You point something very interesting. It's having the resources. So you had already, as a company, done the investment of giving your employees or the people that work with you that they had Wi-Fi, that they had a laptop. There is a lot of companies making that investment. Are you seeing an impact on that, on companies saying, hold on, let's invest and get everyone on a laptop, and then we can do our meetings, do our events online?
I wouldn't know that specifically if people are actively buying new laptops. And I feel like most of the companies, I mean, what do you think? I would think that literally they're like, get your laptop at home, whether the company one or your own, and please plug in. So I think that's the quickest way for people to get online. I wouldn't think that everyone's getting like laptops into their homes right now. Maybe some companies do that, but I would think most of them are just, please plug in and I'll see you on Zoom. So that would be the quickest thing. And the same with my team. Everyone had already prepared, their tech at home, their iPads, their computers and everything. So our work in that way hasn't really changed, which is a strange thing. I've been working from home or with clients for the last 8 years. So when everyone said, please stay at home, that hasn't changed for me. But in terms of course, our clients, there's been so much, helping them on how to do an event online. How can you create a virtual meeting? How can you divide people into groups if you want to do a group session? And how can we help you, make sure that you've got some takeaways? Because if we're all going online, the takeaways need to be much more stronger than they used to be. So our work seems to be even more vital right now to make sure that you capture them somehow. Otherwise, they can just kind of go into the ether if you have 30 calls a day, right? So that's what we've been noticing. But I think everyone's just plugging in what they have. Yeah.
That's amazing. So do you feel, Natalie, this new circumstance that is shaking your industry very, very hardly, that it's going to send you to a different direction where maybe you're going to be developing different products from your company?
I mean, it's a very interesting question what you're saying, because on one hand, yes, we are just pushing more the message that, guys, we're online. We can help you on your virtual events. We can help you just like we helped you before. So in that way, nothing has changed. We just suddenly need to speak about it more, because we used to do physical events. We used to do much more in person. Now it's just kind of making sure the clients understand that, we have this stuff, like these things are good for us to work together, and still. But on the other hand, when you say these things, of course, we've been thinking about putting together more online courses. We've been thinking about ourselves putting more online webinars on, and facilitation, so we can invite people in. And the fascinating thing about these things, I don't know how you find it, but suddenly, even from, let's say, a workshop that I had to find maybe a physical space for, pay for it, get people in, promote it where I can, to I'll do a webinar. Everyone anyways is at home and needs something, to do with their time. Suddenly I'm finding that 80 something people are joining my webinar or something. So in that way, I would still take into account how there's a lot of positive out of our situation right now, although it's totally crazy, and and we need to stay safe and everything. But in terms of what we have right now, there's so much we can do. So in terms of online courses, webinars, and thinking about how to, help more with the VR, because it used to be so like, last year we just talked about it, and now we have actual calls about, can you help me with this conference? I need some virtual experience. I need to hear something. So that conversation is just quickly changing and moving. So we're moving as fast as we can with that conversation.
So I think there's two things happening from a social point of view. We're slowing down. Life is becoming a little bit more slow because dynamics are different. Like I spent yesterday my whole day chatting with people FaceTime. So you're sitting, not doing things, you're not on the go multitasking. But then this situation is creating that a lot of smaller organizations are speeding up in their resources in order to be able to provide home office setups for a lot of industries that wasn't the case. So hopefully it's gonna open up and change a little bit the dynamics in our world, and that we can maybe after this, when we're allowed to go back outside, we can work more from home and have more work and life balance. Natalie, you mentioned VR, super exciting topic. Give me a super short introduction of what are you guys doing on VR?
So imagine you've got a conference, and basically after the conference you want to get again takeaways from that conference. That's the most important thing that people want. I want this conference to be remembered. I want more people to sign up. I want more people to interact with each other. I want more people to remember this stuff. So we create these conference rooms, for example. So what happens is that we capture who was speaking, what did they talk about, how to get in touch with them, what was covered, what's the key takeaways for you from this conference. So we've been creating a lot of that stuff for conferences in real time and after. A lot of as well very creative kind of conceptual stuff. So let's say companies will get in touch and say, can you create a visual space for me where people can enter and they can learn about my product, learn about my service, learn about my strategy. So again, a lot of strategy work, which we used to do in person. I miss people. But
Me too.
Now we can do a lot of, let's say, can I literally, So now we do a lot of, can I walk you through the strategy? So let's say we'll visualize the strategy in 3D. And you can either enter it through the glasses yourself, but if you don't have, which is often the case, people ask us, what if I don't have those glasses? Well, that's okay. We can film them, put them on YouTube for you, or we can create these 360 photographs of the world we created, so that you can click on your laptop and see very clearly what's going on, what did we draw, what did we create together. So there's a lot of exciting tools, but basically, again, it's storytelling, just taking it into 3D, which is still very new to people, but exciting. So I feel like this will definitely keep on moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the takeaway, Natalie, is the world is changing, but we're telling stories, and stories never, the fact that we tell stories as humans, that's as old as a civilization. We're already used to do it when we were cave people, with a little bit of fire and getting all together and communicating. So it's part of who we are as humans. Natalie, thank you so much. I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
We're going to add all your links to your website, to your social media. You said you're on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. So that people can connect with you.
Everywhere you can find us.
Yeah. I wish you success. And I hope that when this is over, you get all your events and also progress in your digital journey, because it sounds like it's really exciting.
I mean, one thing, if I can say, we will come out of it. Definitely the world is changing. We have to agree with that. And the more we embrace what's going on right now in terms of going online, having these calls just like you and me, having more video calls, the better we'll do. I mean, at the end of the day, just me and you having this Zoom call, we have this visual connection, like eye to eye. I'm looking into your face. I experience it much more sometimes than, sometimes sitting in a meeting and being a bit not connected or something. So in that way, there's a lot of positive out of it, but let's embrace it rather than be stuck and scared, because we need to move forward, And also, so thank you so much.
Not to go back to our bad ways when this happens. So we really take it in. We do how they call in project management sometimes the post-mortem, to look back and say what happened, what went well, what didn't go well, and then from there build up. Thanks so much, Natalie.
I don't believe even if it's going to happen, I think people will really start thinking, do I really need to fly for this one meeting? Do I really need to go abroad to do this session? Do I really need to always kind of be everywhere and just, at that time and see people in person? Suddenly we are forced to think of all these tools as useful. And I'm not saying there won't be any interaction. Of course, it's such I think, human nature to be face to face, and it's so natural for us to have these sort of interactions. Is the best way. But I think people really start thinking, do I really need to do all of this in person? Can I manage this better and quicker via online, and there's so much opportunity out there. It's crazy.
And this also connects actually with the environmental aspect that I think everyone's very conscious about flying and flying for users meetings for 10 hours, and when you're in the enterprise level, those situations do happen a lot. So food for thought. Thanks, Natalie. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. You too. Take care.